Yeah, we're in progress.
Got
So
it.
push push the button and we're gonna start right away. Whoops, hold on. Can't do that because you're not getting audio. Share advanced stereo. Okay, start over.
That's you won't hear my crunch in my chips.
Now you can hear me.
Welcome to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room Podcast.
Yeah.
We are here to podcast about anything and everything Star Wars with you. Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR KyleJohansson.us. That's
Down there.
RABR
Hopefully.
KAILEJOHANSEN.US. On the left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn
Over there.
how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KAILEJOHANSEN.US. And now, it's time to talk Star Wars.
Yeah.
I am Kyle John Johansson, and this is Andrew Scott Sutton. Say hello.
Super duper. Hello. We got Rick. Still haven't fixed that, so Rick's on there yet, but okay, over here. Hello.
I'm still a guest.
I'll get it fixed eventually. What I'll do is redo it. Oh, look, now Chrome wants me to reboot because they got a new update. Great, thank you. So yeah, we've been having all kinds of fun troubles starting like I'm unprepared, unlike usual. But today we'll be reviewing Star Wars: The Bad Batch season 3 premiere of 3 episodes in a row. 3 in a row.
3-peat.
3-peat, yeah. Which I don't know. That's more of a Chiefs reference than anything, isn't it?
That's all right. Go
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Yeah, that's happened since. A lot happened. So I don't really have any official news, but I'm gonna say a couple things in the news. I sent you guys a link. There's a announcement that the Acolyte's going to be premiering on June 5th, I think it said.
Yep, I think that's right.
Acolyte, which is the new show that's supposed to be pre all of our movies. It's supposed to be like 500 or more years before all of the movies that have been out so far. And it's supposed to be a Sith acolyte. Acolyte's what they call apprentice for the Sith. So anyway, there's that. And we've got some rumors about other shows too. We know that it's probably not going to happen for Mandalorian coming out this year. Probably going to come out next year. It'll probably take Bad Batch's spot, would be my guess. Bad Batch is in the spring. I would say Mandalorian comes out in the spring. That'd be my guess. And then there's a couple more shows that are coming out. I think the one with the short cartoons, the Visions. We should be getting another one of those. Also, I wanted you guys to notice that Bad Batch normally has 16 episodes per season. This season they have 15, and maybe that's why they gave us 3 instead of 2 this first go around. But so we've got that, and anything else you can think of, Rick? Have you found anything out there?
Not really. Ahsoka,
kind of...
the season 2 has kind of just been whispered about, but not really anything concrete or finite. So I'm hoping that Mando will come back before the end of the year. But yeah, I think we're stuck with what we've got. It's going to be a lean year, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll have. So if we include the Bad Batch, I think we'll maybe have 3 to 4 shows. A couple of them are repeats of what we've seen, but Acolyte's new.
Yep.
And that one kids one's supposed to have another season 2. They've had that one's been pretty popular with kids, I guess, because they're on like season 2, maybe 3 now. It's I guess right. it's simpler to produce those. I guess they're not as scripted. Let's say it ties into everything
Well,
kind
they're
of thing.
short. But those only like 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, they're really short.
Aren't those the short ones?
Some
Yeah.
of them are, yeah.
They'll tide you over. They'll tide you over in the winter months.
Yep. All right. So that was it. The news. And we have a new feature this year that we're gonna. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to keep it up because it costs me a lot of money. But we're gonna unbox some Star Wars Funko Pops. I don't know. We've always talked about these things, and you've seen them in my back wall here. I've got a ton of them. And I keep getting them. And actually, I made a mistake when I was hanging the shelves, and I hung the top row too high, which I've calculated if I lower it about 6 inches, I can get another row of Funko Pops across the back wall. So you can't see. Well, you can. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 rows right now. I'm planning on putting a 5th row because right now, with all the ones that I've unboxed for these videos, I'm full. There's no space left on any of the shelves, except for I do have a shelf. What?
Drop everything down to the wainscot, and then move everything down, and you got room for like 2 or 3 more shelves.
Well, I could do that, but I'm not going to drop it below the wainscot.
Yeah, no, right there on the edge, right there at the very top of it. Wifey won't care. There's
a reason it's up that high. There's
okay.
Stuff around here that's up that high. But anyway, I can get another level, which will give me 2 walls worth. And there's a possibility I could put one over that door on this other wall that I haven't even put anything on yet. And I do have one in front of me, just 1 row. Well, I say that, then there's these short ones over here, but 1 row, and those are all Funkos that aren't Star Wars. So there's not very many of them. I'd say there's 20 of them up there, but
my wife always things from the ceiling.
I might. My wife thinks it's stupid for me to collect these things, so she always gets me a non-Star Wars one. In protest. I got some pretty cool ones though. I've got a couple Star Trek ones. I've got Bill Nye. I've got Oscar the Grouch.
There you go.
I've got Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I got a Mickey Mouse Sorcerer. I've got a couple from Rocky and Bullwinkle show. I've got what's his name? Boris Badenoff was his name. And then I've got Bullwinkle. I've got Rocky, and then I've got some of them they're out of the box because they were like given out at a baseball game. So I've got a Kansas City hot dog one with mustard on it. I do have an Einstein one also.
Wow.
And then I've got this little bust over here that was my mom's. That's Samuel Clemens, but that was her favorite author, I think.
Yeah.
But, she had another one too, but it was broken or something. Anyway, besides that, so let's get this video going, and we can move on to that. Basic. I want the application. Where's my application stuff? Share. Okay, so you can only see my video application, Rick, now?
Yeah, all I see is yeah.
It's me. Looks like me, but it's a different shirt. I have America.
I think it's a clone.
It's a clone, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
Clone.
All right, so I need to make sure that the audio is also sharing.
It looks like Big Yeti.
Big Yeti, what? Share sound. That's good. Okay, perfect. All right, let me play. I rewind it a little bit. Play. Tell me if you can hear it when it plays. No video. I broke it, Rick.
You broke the internet. What? It played and it's like frozen for me. I don't know about you.
Trying something new. There we
We're
go.
going to unbox a bobblehead. We're not going to take it all the way out of the packaging that it comes in, for value's sake. But I have a box here on the table. We'll see it in just a second. And I'm going to open it up and we're going to pretend like it's super exciting. All right.
Super exciting.
Wow, an Amazon box!
Here,
it's
a box! Unboxing starting
from Amazon, too.
Yeah, I was always introduced my tool. This is my letter opener. Not very sharp. Doesn't really hurt. I've stabbed myself back that once and cut myself.
But the box would disagree.
Let me open these up. Hopefully, these will be a better openings in the future. Because I've had to re-record these cut times, so they are. But let's go. Let's go. Open. Case it nice and. It's bleeding. There. Put this side in. Look at all this. Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah. That's our nice helper hurt herself. Of course.
Oh, Star Wars.
Oh, look at that. Oh, what is? Oh, I can't tell. Oh, it's Star Wars Ahsoka. 688. All right, yeah. Pay attention to those numbers. Because the group, the series it's in, they all go together. They go 687, 88, 89, and so on. So look, I don't know who is that. That's the guy with a beard. Who could that be? It's Balin's goal.
Oh no, it's Balin's goal.
All right, 88 there. Got his lightsaber.
Skull.
On the front. Look at that.
Look at that. That's awesome.
A nice box too. Nice and solid. 688. Again to the back. There's the top. He's peeking at you.
He's looking at me. Stop looking at me.
That's the unboxing. Look at that. Another empty. That was it. Okay, so let me stop sharing that. I gotta turn the audio back on so Rick can hear me play weird noises.
Excuse me.
There we go. So what did you think about that, Rick? That was
pretty cool.
Almost professional looking, wasn't
it? Did you get consent from the box before you poked it?
No. I did not. I was unlawful consenting the box. That's fun. All right, just a second. In preparation, I'm gonna open up the second one. Future it's gonna play. I hope not. Yep, it's playing. Stop.
Okay. Had to throw in the Vikings, Skull.
Skull, yeah. I mean, he seems like he's a Viking, doesn't he? He's all rough and stuff.
Kind of.
All right, so that was an unboxing of one of the characters in Ahsoka. And like I said, I promised that we'll have more. I just can't promise how many more because they're like $15, $20, $30. I think one of them I got just recently was $25.
If you would like to contribute to the GoFundMe cause, the website will be posted at the end of the show.
We'll figure out a way if you want to. I actually do have a funding site that I set up a long time ago, but I've never, it's one of those ones where you can buy someone a cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think it's called KOFI Coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do have one of those set up if anybody's interested, if they do want to do that, but we've never really begged for money in the past. So let's get into the episode, and I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to spoil some stuff if you haven't watched.
Oh.
That's why
and I continue.
Spoiler alert.
Danger. You're about to be spoiled.
There we go. That's good. All right. So this episode, again, Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 1, named Confined. And we find out during this episode why it's called Confined, don't we? It's pretty much takes up off right where we left off from last season, I think. But so we've got a director of these are all wrong. Rick. Yeah, that's not the right director. So let's start with what I've got on my screen here. We go. So director is Saul Ruiz, written by Jennifer Corbett, and the editor is Matt Michnovetz. I can never say his name. He's got a strange name. The music score was, of course, done by Kevin Kiner, and he's involved or started listing his family that helps him out. Sean Kiner and Deana Kiner also. And I've noticed that they're listed that way in all of these episodes for this season. Probably because, he wants to advertise so he can get more business since Bad Batch is going away. He needs to fill that void. Right. And okay, so all of the clone troopers we see and the Bad Batch and the voice of Batcher, which we'll find out is a some sort of dog type crazy monster thingy, big Rottweiler maybe. I don't know what those things are, but he's something like that. And he doesn't really talk, but he makes noises. So good job, D. Bradley Williams or Baker on doing that. Obviously Crosshair was there. We've got next person would be Michelle Yang as Omega. Omega. It looks like D. Bradley Baker did a Stormtrooper voice too. We have Jimmi Simmons, who did Dr. Royce Hemlock and another Stormtrooper. Keisha Castle-Houghs does Emerie Karr, Dr. Karr, the lady with the glasses that almost looks like the glasses Tech has.
Omega's sister.
Tad. Okay, yeah, sister. They're all brothers and sisters. That's how she tries to persuade her, is to convince her their family. Oh yeah, we got to push the no, we don't. John Lithgow did an Imperial technician. He did a robot K9X1 and a Stormtrooper pilot, one of the pilots that got into a X-Wing, as a matter of fact. Not an X-Wing, TIE fighter.
TIE fighter. Yeah.
And then, of course, we have Gwendoline Yeo, who played Nala Se, our very tall, weird alien creature. And let's see, anything else interesting on here? Those are all interesting, but they're not relevant for us, right? I think
we had Hunter and
not in this episode, did we?
Oh no,
we didn't have him in this episode. This was all Crosshair and Omega. Yeah. Okay. So those are the cast and crew. Scorch was in there. Scorch is one of those stormtroopers that have the green lenses. Mm-hmm. He's a particular one. He's one of the head ones. I think he guards Hemlock mostly.
I was gonna say he's the one that's with Hemlock.
Yeah. So we're gonna play a commercial. And I want to say before I do that I'm open to any ideas for new commercials. So, we're doing Bad Batch. Maybe there's something we can do for the Bad Batch. So let me know, Rick or Scott, if you're listening, or anybody who's out there listening. Hopefully, I mean, I've been advertising our starting back up on some different platforms lately, and we've got some new people, but who knows what they're actually listening. They're just reading my comments and deleting them. I don't know. Anyway, so let's play a commercial real quick. It's gonna be Aaron's.
Hey, you over there. Are you a trooper? Is your armor always dirty? When do you find time to clean it? Did Rebel Scum scratch and damage it? Does your helmet communications keep acting up? Stop by Aaron's Armor Sparkalorium. Before 1500 hours, we will wash, clean, and sanitize your armor for the next day pickup. Our patented galactically ancient secret cleaning techniques will have your armor sparkling just like a new Cerulean Y1300 freighter just off the assembly line. You will be the envy of all your friends and coworkers, from the castles on Lothal to the politicians on Coruscant to the environmentalists on Endor. For your next day service, stop by Aaron's Armor Sparkalorium. We are located in Tatooine's Mos Eisley Spaceport, directly across from Hangar 35.
35.
We will also repair and sell most parts at the best rates in the known galaxy. All services guaranteed and licensed by the Emperor himself to last a lifetime. Only at Aaron's Armor Sparkalorium.
Tell you right now, you better.
Helmets and boots services are extra.
Oh, forgot the disclaimer. Tell you right now though, you better hurry up and get in there, because I don't think Aaron realizes it, but he's probably going to go out of business in a couple of years. No more stormtroopers.
We could have a fire sale eventually.
Exactly. So get in there while you can. All right. So what that means is we're gonna restate what the episode is. Bad Batch season 3, episode 1, Confined, originally aired on Wednesday, February 21st. Star Wars Wednesday. The running time for this particular episode was 29 minutes and 21 seconds. And we're still playing in the timeline of 18 to 19 before the Battle of Yavin, which I always say before the Battle of Yavin is when the first Death Star blew up. Because the Battle of Yavin is when that happened. Anyway, that means it's time to grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, and join us in the Rebel Alliance briefing room. Yay. Yay. All right. So we get started with our episode. Enough with the cheering already. Jeez, go back to your phones. The Imperial Shuttle 135 approaches the Tantiss base on Wayland. And that's, we've learned from the previous episode, that's the location where the Empire is continuing the cloning that was going on the place where Omega and everybody originated from. The TK trooper flying the shuttle communicates with the base traffic control, who gives him permission to land. While descending the planet's atmosphere, the shuttle is struck by lightning, causing it to short circuit and crash into the jungle. The stormtroopers survive the landing, with TK-343 attempting to contact the base. One of the stormtrooper warns about wild beasts, but another I can't talk today. Another reassures his comrades that the Lucra hounds are out. The Lucra hounds are out. That's what we talked about Batcher earlier. That's what they call the Batcher, is a Lucra hound. The other stormtrooper responds that the hounds don't operate this far out, partially because they're whatever else is out there in the jungle is going to eat those things. Yeah. Back at the Tantiss base, Dr. Royce Hemlock asks why the shuttle has not arrived. And he hears a stormtrooper fending off wild beasts, so they're monitoring the comm traffic of these stormtroopers that crash. And Hemlock rules out sending reinforcements, because by the time they get there, they're going to be dead anyway, basically. He deems them as good as dead. Later in the morning, Omega looks outside the grills of her cell at the surrounding mountains. Water drops from the tap in her basement, and her sister Emerie visits her. When Omega protests that she is a prisoner, Karr says that there is no such thing and reassures her that she will acclimate. She will comply. Karr claims that it is far safer on Mount Tantiss than outside the base. Karr tells Omega to follow her since they have much to do today. Lots of chores. While walking the corridor, Omega walks past several imprisoned former clone troopers, including a dejected Crosshair, who's probably ignoring her on purpose, who are guarded by Imperial Royal Guards. Inside a ward, Omega watches as Karr collects blood samples from clone troopers. Karr requests that Omega let her collect her blood as well. When Omega asks why, Karr responds that all of them serve a purpose and claims it won't hurt. Omega reluctantly climbs into her chair and asks Karr if she knows where her brothers are. And Karr replies she does not know. She may know, but she doesn't want to tell it. I don't know.
It's top secret.
Top secret, yeah. She doesn't have clearance. When Omega asks why she never saw Karr on Kamino, Karr replies that she was sent elsewhere until Dr. Hemlock took her under her wing. She explains that Hemlock saw potential in her, much like Nala Se saw potential in Omega. Omega says she never knew that she had a sister and is relieved she is not alone. She's got more than one girl to talk to, I guess.
Oh, power.
Talk about periods and stuff. After Karr collects the blood sample, so to speak, she sends Omega with the test tubes containing the blood samples to Nala Se in the laboratory. On the way to the lab, Omega walks past an RA7 protocol droid. Outside the lab, the two Imperial Royal Guards let her in. She steps in a secondary chamber where she is scanned by a scanner system. Guess making sure she doesn't have any weapons, huh? Yeah, it was like a cross thing. It was like came from four sides into the center, I guess, to
it's kind of weird.
Probe your body with poison, probably, huh? Inside, Nala Se and several droids deposit samples into various machines. Nala Se thanks Omega for bringing the blood samples and asks Omega if her sample was taken also. When Omega confirms that was the case, Nala Se discards the sample in the rubbish bin and tells Omega to keep this a secret, adding it is safer that way. It's much safer that way. She got such a soft, quiet voice the whole time. You can barely understand her when she talks, but anyway. When Omega asks about the research, Nala Se responds that it is different from the clone trooper program on Kamino. When Omega asks why she was brought here, Nala Se reveals that Omega was brought here to ensure her compliance. She explains that the Empire seeks the reproduction of the genetic M count, but experiments on the specimens haven't revealed a desired result. And I want to say M count means midichlorian count, which is what the more you have, the stronger you are on the Force, right?
Yep.
Nala Se clarifies that the specimens are not clones. The two are soon joined by Dr. Hemlock and an Imperial Guard. Hemlock expresses hope that Omega's presence will strengthen her work. Yeah. Get her to get to work and do it already.
Yeah.
Hemlock asks Nala Se to accompany her, for her to accompany him to the vault. Nala Se tells Omega to stay behind and complete her tasks. One of the scanner matches a sample, and the vault is heavily guarded by several armed Imperial Guards and a secondary red scanner system. That we're talking about the vault where they're taking Nala Se. Okay.
Yeah.
Omega serves biscuits to the Lorca hounds who are kept inside pens. The sentry droid K9X1 presses a button on a panel, which activates a Lorca hound outside. Omega secretly attends to her pet Lorca Batcher, who somehow they've turned into a cute little doggy or something, who refuses to eat biscuits. He's not feeling very good for some reason. Omega shares some of her food, which, people food is always better than dog food, right? Exactly. Badger is willing to eat it. Omega promises to bring more the following day. Omega exits the pens and walks through the corridors, which lead to several cells where the clone troopers are held. Taking advantage of the absence of sentries, Omega visits Crosshair in his cell. Crosshair warns her not to escape since he's tried many times before. When Omega suggests that she can trust Emerie, Crosshair counters that not every clone is their ally. When Crosshair remarks that she is too trusting, Omega remarks that he doesn't trust enough, and Crosshair warns her to leave for her safety. Omega resolves to find a way to escape Mount Tantiss. Back in her cell, Omega scratches a new line on the wall that's towards the window, it looks like. And then she kind of dusts it off to make it look pretty. After packing some food away, she holds her Tuca doll while gazing at the moon. And you don't realize that she's collecting the hay from the Lorca pins, and she actually made that doll from the hay, if you look at it closely. Because she didn't have one before that. If you notice, it was just then at that time she pulled it out of her case. It was the first time we saw it. Then she places it back inside of her case, and as routine, Emerie Karr visits Omega and escorts her to the cell. This is the next day, I would assume. Walking through the corridor, she sees Crosshair and other clones again, being escorted by troopers. As before, Karr collects the blood, but Nalase secretly disposes of the sample again. Later at the Lorca kennels, she discovers Batcher is nursing it looks like a pretty big wound on his arm. Omega reports this to the K9X1, who explains that LH201, which is Batcher's designation, sustains injuries while out on patrol last night. If her wounds do not heal, he explains she will be terminated. That's sad. Omega gets sad. When Omega asks him to treat her, the droid responds that he is not a medical droid, is not programmed to treat wounds. Badger whimpers in pain. Omega borrows a cleansing tool from the first aid kit and convinces Batcher to let her treat her. Looks like she found that tool had some of that Bacta stuff on it. She scrubs that on there pretty good.
Good stuff.
Suddenly he's a couple days later, he's all better. At least we'll see. Omega later recounts the incident to Crosshair when she's visiting him again. And she's not supposed to. Omega talks about stealing a med pack to treat Batcher. Crosshair tells her to stop wasting time on lost causes. If she wants to escape, she needs to focus on that. Omega refuses to abandon Crosshair, but replies that if he had the opportunity to escape, he would not think twice about abandoning her. So he would leave without her, which is probably true. But maybe not. Maybe not so much. She's just trying to get him to leave him there because he's gonna die anyway or something stupid, right?
Just trying to motivate him.
Omega says Crosshair is her brother, and she disagrees. Omega refuses to abandon Crosshair. Before leaving, he tells her not to risk anything for her because he belongs here. So he thinks he's done a lot of bad things and needs to be in jail.
Yeah,
probably true. Probably true. He did a lot of bad things for the Empire.
He did.
Later in the day, Omega is subject to a surprise inspection by Imperial commandos who rummage through her belongings. Omega tries to hide her Toka doll, but Karr explains that this is standard procedure. One of the commando snatches up her Toka doll from her hand, and Karr reminds Omega that they are not allowed personal items and says she will dispose of it. She then ushers Omega away for her work duties. Meanwhile, Nala Se reports progress to Dr. Hemlock, who is displeased that the M count is severely diminishing in progress. He warns that if they do not match the M count of the specimen, it will be deemed a failure. He warns that failure will lead him to revisit privileges afforded to Omega. So he's going to torture Omega or something. Hemlock warns her about consequences of delaying progress. Nala Se claims loyalty to science, but the doctor warns that the Emperor is not as patient as he is. That dang Emperor is never as patient, is he? Wasn't that one of the lines in one of the movies too?
Yeah, I think so.
It was when the Death Star was being built. Yeah, it was what's his name? The Grand Moff that was on the Death Star. It was it. We saw him mostly talk about it in golly, that movie that everybody died in, right?
Oh, Rogue One.
That's it. That one.
I was thinking Darth Vader on like one of the Star Destroyer's decks or something on the bridge.
He says that. I think he says that at one time.
The Emperor is not as patient as I am, or something.
Yeah, one of the guys reported to him. One of the generals reported something to him, and he didn't like it, but he said the Emperor is not as willing to accept these things as I am.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Tarkin, that's his name. Remember in one of the previous episodes of Bad Batch, we had the tower where Tarkin was having the meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Inside the pins, Omega is relieved that Batcher's wound is healing. However, K9 X1 informs Omega that Batcher has been slated for termination anyway. Since she recently domesticated him, he has been deemed a liability. As the droid drags her away, Omega says that Batcher is not at fault, but the droid insists on following protocol. She snatches the data pad from the droid and issues a secret alert before activating his electrostaff. Omega uses the data pad to cause the cage to crash on top of X91 or K9X1, whatever. So he's the K9 transferred one. K9 unit. She then hits the droid in the head with a stolen electrostaff and uses the datapad to unlock the external chute for Badger's kennel. After removing her control collar, she tells the hound to run. Omega tells Badger she can go with her. She can't go with her because she has to rescue Crosshair first.
It'll be later. I'll come meet you.
Yeah. We're getting close. Omega soon is cornered by Dr. Hemlock and Emerie Karr. Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
Busted.
Hemlock chides her for releasing a weak Lorca hound and accuses her of being cruel. Because, the outside stuff's going to kill him. Maybe. We'll see. When Omega counters that they're going to terminate Badger, Hemlock explains that the passengers of the Imperial shuttle a few rotations ago were killed by wild beasts, which are more formidable than the Lorca hounds. So these things are scary sons of bitches, I guess.
They're big creatures. Bad creatures.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently, and we'll see. I'm not trying to spoil, but apparently, all the failed attempts, they just throw them out in the woods. So whatever they're working on and it doesn't work out right, they just go throw them wild, and they're pretty bad. Hemlock says that Omega's domestication of LH-201 only made her vulnerable. When Omega counters that Batcher deserves a chance, Hemlock mocks her idealism and says that emotion and sentiment have no place within these walls because we're all soldiers, something. Don't we all do whatever the Emperor says because we're robots. When Omega protests, Karr attempts to defuse the situation by escorting Omega back to her room. Hemlock asks Omega if she has more to say, and Omega reveals that she knows that Hemlock brought her here as a hostage to keep Nala Se in line. When Omega says that he will not dare hurt her, Hemlock agrees but warns her misbehavior will endanger Crosshair. Oh. So he's got something for her and for Nala Se. So
that's always work.
Darn it. While he plans to I said hillbilly there.
Hillbilly.
While he plans to rehabilitate Crosshair, Hemlock warns that they will terminate him if her misbehavior continues. After warning Omega of actions ever consequences, Hemlock orders Karr to escort Omega back to her room and restrict her access. She doesn't get out. Nobody gets out.
I was gonna say, what access does she have? She's like in a cage when she's not working, and she's with the Lurka Hounds. That's part of her job.
She has no access, except to Nala Se's lab, but she doesn't have direct access. She has to be escorted there, right?
Yeah.
Omega sits cross-legged inside her cell and sulks. Karr attempts to speak to her, but she tells her to go away. As a reconciliatory gesture, Karr returns her Toka doll. Omega hears Batcher howling in the distance. Batcher rummages through the wreckage of the crash of the Imperial shuttle. Then we see credits. I can't do the credits very well, but we see credits, and that's it. Episode over.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So, what we want to do is we want to get all of your feedback. That's right, feedback. We want all of your feedback, and there's many ways you can do that. Anything about this episode or any future episodes, send an email to feedback@kylejohansson.us. There should be probably a link down below, and there'll be a feedback link on the website on the left-hand side, like we keep saying it's on that side. We keep saying in the beginning and the end here. We have a Twitter account where you can send us it's X now. Never mind. It's Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. @super_duper_pod. Send us a message, comments, whatever you want there. We are on Blue Sky, which has been pretty good to us so far. And that is @Rebel Alliance Briefing Room, all one word. And we'll have some videos up on YouTube later. You can comment on those videos. All of these audio podcasts are videos. And now you can you can hear the audio versions and the video versions on YouTube. They're now consolidating that stuff. Before you had to go to Google Podcasts or whatever to listen to them. Now you can go to our YouTube channel and see both, or hear and see both, let's say. Okay. Well, Rick, what do you have? Any comments about the episode that we just watched?
It was good. It was a great introduction into season 3.
I thought it was pretty good. And I could tell exactly where they're leading to, though. This show's never been hard to figure out, but
yeah.
You can tell what's going on. I mean, one of my predictions is going to be that we're going to spend the first few episodes, probably past episode number 3, reuniting with the rest of the crew, right?
Oh, for sure. That's happened.
We know, as we'll see in the next episode, Hunter and and the big guy are out there looking for him. And the other one, he's off doing good deeds or whatever.
Echo Rex.
Echo is off doing good deeds, which they don't really talk about that then, but we know from previous seasons that that's what he's doing. He'll come in every once in a while, I would expect. I'm sure once Omega is joined back with the crew, they're gonna meet up with Echo and have a big old cry fest or something. But I would say that half of it's that, and then the rest of the half is I don't know, doing something to avenge for Crosshair.
Getting back for Tech. The only thing I noticed that we didn't mention was like in her windowsill, she's keeping track of time. I know you said at the beginning, but towards the end, you can definitely see that there is a lot of days of effects. Like she's keeping track using tally marks. So
quite a few tally marks. Yeah, there's at least a couple months, maybe longer.
I've been there for a while.
We noticed.
Reminded me of Groundhog. It was like every day was the same for her. She got up. We had things to do. She got blood. She went to Nalase. She fed the Lurkas. She came back to her room. It was like just wash, rinse, repeat.
Same boring routine.
Yeah.
And we'll notice going forward that if you pay attention, her hair does get longer. She starts putting it up in a ponytail a little bit, which she did in previous seasons too. But this is it's a little rattier, I would say, going forward. We kind of saw that at the end of the episode. Her hair was getting a little bit longer. So she's going to be a more rough and tougher than before. She doesn't have that little emblem necklace thing she used to do around her head on her forehead anymore. Probably because it got taken away. But
personal item.
Yeah, it's a personal item. But that's same with me. That's all I see. Hopefully, some people out there will see something we didn't see, or tell us we said something wrong. Make fun of me not being able to talk, whatever it is. Send us some feedback. And if you don't have anything else, Rick, I'm going to push
Omega.
You don't have anything else? I'm going to push the outro button and get ready for the next episode.
Sounds good, man.
Thank you for listening to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast. Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR KyleJohansson.us. That's RABR.KyleJohansson.us. On the left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KyleJohansson.us. This podcast in no way is approved, sponsored, or owned by Lucasfilms Ltd.
Not at all.
Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. All opinions are solely owned by Kyle and or Scott, and in no way express the views or opinions of their past or present employers.
Some of them are
views and opinions are not supported or restricted by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or any or other use of this podcast and its affiliate sites without consent of Super Duper Podcast Network and its host is prohibited.
Completely prohibited.
I am Kyle Johansson, and this is Andrew Scott Sutton. Say goodbye
Andrew.
Now.
No Andrew. Rick today. Andrew's got some family stuff he's dealing with, so hopefully we'll see him soon. Not at least in the next couple episodes of the podcast, but soon. Anything else, Rick? So we say goodbye here. Bye bye.
Yep.
We're gonna give some silence in between.